Pancreatic cancer rate rising fastest in younger women. Turkey earthquake deaths pass 33,000. China spy balloon sought to intercept communications. U.S. shoots down unidentified flying object above Alaska. Nearly 1 million French march in pension protests. Pregnant Russian women flying to Argentina for citizenship. Hong Kong raids shop suspected of selling cat and dog meat. NASA finds clearest evidence yet of an ancient lake on Mars.
Hello, I'm Jolie. Thank you so much for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Monday, February 13th, and here are your top stories. Scientists at the Cancer Institute at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles found pancreatic cancer rates are rising fastest in younger women amid concern that unhealthy lifestyles may be to blame. According to scientists, drinking, smoking, and eating too much junk food could be behind the phenomenon. Traditionally, it is more common among men, but now scientists found that cases among women under the age of 55 have increased by 2.4% more than men of the same age. Black women are particularly prone.
Dr. Srinivas Gadam said people experiencing unexplained weight loss or jaundice, a yellowing of the skin, and the whites of the eyes should seek medical attention, as these are potential signs of pancreatic cancer or another serious medical issue. Pancreatic cancer often spreads aggressively, making it hard to treat and a terrifying diagnosis for both patients and their loved ones. Every year, more than 10,000 people in the UK and 60,000 in the US are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
The media reported that Turkish authorities are targeting contractors allegedly linked with buildings that collapsed in the powerful earthquake on February 6th, as rescuers found more survivors in the rubble Sunday, including a pregnant woman with 2 children, in the disaster that killed over 33,000 people. The media said the death toll from the magnitude 7.8 and 7.5 quakes that struck 9 hours apart in southeastern Turkey and northern Syria rose to 33,185 and was certain to increase as search teams find more bodies.
In psychosocial support, especially for the children, it's a very bewildering time.
The media also said that 34,717 Turkish search and rescue personnel are involved in rescue efforts. On Sunday, Turkey's foreign ministry said they have been joined by 9,595 personnel from 74 countries, with more on the way. Rescuers reported finding more survivors amid increasingly long odds. Thermal cameras were used on piles of concrete and metal as crews demanded silence so they could hear those trapped. Turkish Justice Minister Bakir Bozdak said 131 people were under investigation.
The media reported that highly sophisticated spying equipment was found on a Chinese balloon that the U.S. recently shut down. U.S. officials said underwater pictures of the debris showed the electronics it was carrying was mostly intact after a fall from 60,000 feet. They said images captured by high-altitude U-2 surveillance planes and other reconnaissance flights found that the balloon carried an array of antennas for intercepting communications and large solar panels capable of powering an array of intelligence collection sensors.
U.S. officials say the manufacturer of the balloon has a direct relationship with the Chinese military. The U.S. last Friday blacklisted 6 Chinese entities it said were linked to Beijing's aerospace programs. The 6 entities are Beijing Nanjiang Aerospace Technology, China Electronics Technology Group, Corporation 48th Research Institute, Dongguan Lincoln Remote Sensing Technology, Eagle's Man Aviation Science and Technology Group, Guangzhou Tianhaixiang Aviation Technology, and Shanxi Eagle's Man Aviation Science and Technology Group.
U.S. officials said a U.S. F-22 fighter jet last Friday shot down an unidentified object flying high over Alaska less than a week after the military brought down a Chinese balloon that had flown across the United States. The Pentagon's chief spokesperson, U.S. Brig Gen Patrick Ryder, said a Sidewinder missile downed the latest craft, which was about the size of a small car. White House spokesperson John Kirby said, "We don't know who owns this object," adding that it was unclear where it began its flight.
The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet.
The Pentagon and the White House declined to give a detailed description of the latest object, saying only that it was far smaller than the Chinese balloon. The Pentagon said it was first detected last Thursday using ground radars. F-35 aircraft were then sent to investigate. The UFO was flying at about 12,190 meters in a northeasterly direction, posing a risk to civilian air traffic. The object was shot down off the coast of northeastern Alaska over frozen U.S. territorial waters near the Canadian border.
I always needed time on my own. I never thought I could be parents.
I take your blessings with your heartaches too. It's so easy and so wonderful to know it's you.
学习，一切从今天开始。FUNDAY 英语。
Over 960,000 people marched in Paris, Nice, Marseille, Toulouse, Nantes, and other cities held these demonstrations against President Emmanuel Macron's plans to reform the country's pension system last Saturday. Protesters hoped to keep up the pressure on the government to back down, and further action is planned for February 16th. French lawmakers began a rowdy debate earlier last week on the pension bill to raise the minimum retirement age for a full state pension from 62 to 64.
Pension reform plans, including a move to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64.
The media said last Saturday's protest featured flashes of unrest. One car and several trash bins were set on fire on a central Parisian boulevard as police charged the crowd and dispersed protesters with tear gas. Paris police said officers arrested 8 people for infractions ranging from possession of a firearm to vandalism. Some demonstrators walked as families through the French capital's place de la République and carried emotional banners. One held by a teenage boy read, "I don't want my parents to die at work."
According to Argentina's National Migration Agency, more than 5,000 pregnant Russian women have entered Argentina in recent months. The latest arrivals were all in the final weeks of pregnancy. It is believed the women want to make sure their babies are born in Argentina to obtain Argentine citizenship. Argentinian officials said that citizenship from their countries gives more freedom than a Russian passport, which allows citizens to enter 171 countries visa-free. Russians can travel visa-free to only 87 countries.
Así estará ahora, allí, véanlo, las imágenes.
BBC reported birth tourism by Russian citizens to Argentina appears to be a lucrative and well-established practice. A Russian-language website offers various packages for expecting mothers who wish to give birth in Argentina. The packages range from economy class, starting at $5,000, to first class, starting at $15,000. The website says its founder has been facilitating birth tourism and offering migration support since 2015. And the company says it is 100% Argentinian.
CNN reported authorities in Hong Kong have raided a shop suspected of selling dog and cat meat as food more than 70 years after the trade was outlawed. During a joint blitz operation by the city's Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department, AFCD, and the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department last Thursday evening, officers seized suspected samples of dog or cat flesh at a shop in the Yomadi district. It is also investigated whether the shop was trading fresh meat without a license.
香港01星期四獨家揭發，有持牌新鮮糧食店出售走私貓狗肉。
The AFCD said it had carried out the raid after receiving reports that the meats were on sale in Yoma Tai, a densely populated commercial and residential district in the Kowloon area, and that it had arranged testing of the seized samples. The AFCD said in a statement, prosecution will be instituted should it be proven. Eating dog and cat meat has been prohibited in Hong Kong since 1950 under the semi-autonomous Chinese cities laws, and the news has prompted calls for greater enforcement efforts.
In the foothills of a Martian mountain, NASA's Curiosity rover found stunning new evidence of an ancient lake in the form of rocks etched with the ripples of waves, and the telltale signs appeared in an unlikely place. Curiosity's project scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, Ashwin Vasavada, said, "We climbed through thousands of feet of lake deposits and never saw evidence like this, and now we found it in a place we expected to be dry. This is the best evidence of water and waves that we have seen in the entire mission."
But what we saw in this panorama surprised us. Curiosity is currently exploring Mount Sharp.
NASA said the rover is traversing an area of Mars called the sulfate-bearing unit that researchers previously thought would only show evidence of mere trickles of water. Instead, the rover found some of the clearest evidence yet of ancient waters. The sulfate-bearing unit is a region previously identified by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter as containing salty mineral deposits. Scientists consider the sulfate-bearing unit to be a location rife with clues about how and why Mars morphed from a watery planet into the frozen place it is today.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Jolie, your host. I'll see you next time.